Daymon Green here representing for the Jomar Division Industry Spa, the proud founders of Iceberg. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and they did a long-awaited coffee table book with Rizzoli. This is super exciting because Iceberg has such an iconic... I feel like I'm committing a crime here, but it's super iconic. Iceberg has worked with so many legends in the game, and we're going to see if we actually open this book. So let's actually open it. Logically, you know, like when you got that present, it's definitely a book. It's not clothing, I don't believe, but it would be pretty funny if it wasn't a book. Okay, whoa, I almost just cut my finger. That would make great TV. So this is, what is this? That's just that. That's not a good place to open it. Where should I open it? There we go. Italians are really good at packaging. Oh, and I just destroyed Cardi's table. Hold on. That's not the spot either. Let's see here. Oh, I got it now. Now we don't want to actually puncture the book, right, guys? Okay, let's give this back to Steve because I don't want to hurt anybody. And let's do Christmas style. Okay, that's opening. Oh, wow. Okay. Slowly, but oh my God, in Iceberg wrapping paper. Thank you, Valentina. Thank you, Paulo, James, the whole team. This is gorgeous. Okay, let's do it. Like Christmas time, right? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Oh. Wow. That's friggin' gorgeous. Look at that. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get this plastic coating off it. How are we gonna do that? Now I need the knife again, Steve. Maybe not. Let's see, use my nail. There we go. I got it. Okay, use your nail, Daymon. Use your, wow, this is neat. Wow. 50 years of iconicness. They basically pioneered the whole pop art, utilizing pop art to make fashion, sweaters and knits, and they invented it, pioneered it. How does it open? Okay.
Yeah, just lay it flat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Wow. 1974 to 2024, Iceberg, rewind, fast forward. Okay. Boom. So I can run you through some of the stuff that I know about. I can't read that because it's in Italian, nor that. We need a translator to get involved here. 70 to 1999. So the founding of the brand. I know that Jomar, prior to starting Iceberg, had developed the machinery to create knits. Fine gauge, beautiful sweater knits. And then they connected with Jean Castelbajac and started clearly designing. He started actually sketching out designs. He had the ideas to really make men's fashion fun. And then boom, you get right into it. And you're like, there he is, there's the legend. Original designer, partner of Iceberg. And I mean, there you go, right off the bat. Like, that's an iconic sweater from '83 that we just put back in the 50th anniversary collection, a Tom and Jerry piece that everybody knows. Donald, some different designs. This is the original first collection, I'm assuming. Pretty amazing. They actually went through the archives and worked with a curator who help them to decide which looks would go in the book. The book's currently only available at the Giorgio Armani Library in Milan, but it will be releasing in the United States very soon. Wow, iconic. And then you get into this ad with actually the original founder of Jomar and the designer So these are like two icons. I mean, I got to meet the founder in Italy at the store, and that was one of my like honors. She's a pioneer in the industry, and this is her actually in her own ad with her designer at the time. And then you get into some other pretty cool, like these are basically all of the campaigns from over the years. So it's actually showing you his drawings, original drawings, like 84, 85, attached back to the character. I mean, no one was putting characters on clothing. You know, there was art, there was pop art, but no one was like, oh, we should translate this to stuff we can wear. Iceberg pioneered that, and now everyone from Gucci on down has been licensing characters to put on items, really because Iceberg was the founder of that. They're the ones that invented it, they pioneered it, and I mean, this is a campaign. This shows you all the campaign. I mean, Andy Warhol, we're going to get to him, being featured in the campaigns, and then having other designers. So, you know, obviously Moschino, Franco, the actual designer and founder of the iconic brand, in another brand's advertorial. I mean, you don't ever see that. And I mean, look at these knits, friggin' gorgeous. I love how the drawings are inserted into it, and you kind of get into this real color blocking. And okay, wow. I went to Pittsburgh, a funny story, and I visited the Andy Warhol Museum, which is iconic in itself, and toured the museum and checked out all the art and everything. He's from Pittsburgh and has this amazing space there. Then I went in the corporate area, and there was photos of his work with Coca-Cola and his work with Iceberg. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea that we'd work with Andy. When I called Paulo, the CEO, he said, yeah, I mean, Andy was a good friend of the family, and he used to help us curate different collections. So, I mean, does it get much more? How many brands have Andy Warhol in an advertisement for the brand? So there's Andy Warhol. A lot of icons. Lovely seeing all the actual sketches and the original designs to go back to it. That's really cool. I'm not sure who that is. So really a lot of people know Iceberg from like the late 90s, early 2000, you know, from Jay-Z rapping about Iceberg to Kanye, Pharrell. I mean, everyone wearing, and you know, Iceberg was that brand that everyone had a story about, like Vivienne Westwood in an ad for Iceberg. Like, and look at the ad, it's so wild. And this is shot by, I don't want to butcher his name, but he's a legendary photographer.
Francesco Scavullo?
Nope, close. Oliverio Toscani.
Oh, Toscani, yeah, of course.
Who I believe recently passed away not long ago.
Of course.
R.I.P. I mean, he's a legend photographer. Steve probably would maybe know his work better than me, but like he's shooting the campaign featuring Vivienne Westwood for Iceberg. Boom. You're still in like the early stages. Now we get into maybe some more of the years that, you know, the Y2, leading up to the Y2K era, where their ads got much more, less conceptual, a little bit more corporate, a little bit more lifestyle. I think that's where things were going. And like featuring, she looks super famous. I mean, they started to have,
Claudia Schiffer.
it's Claudia Schiffer, right? That's what I thought.
And Guess was doing that, so they kind of jumped on Guess, and she was a Guess girl at that time.
Gigantic, again, this is exactly Claudia Schiffer, shot by Patrick
Demarchelier.
Boom. Thank God Steve's here. So I'm assuming, because Steve knows who these people are, that these are iconic photographers, obviously gigantic models. You know, the sequin, like super early. This is the 90s. I mean, we're now full circle with fashion. Fashion usually has a 20-year cycle, and things cycle in and out. We're back to a lot of this stuff, which looks very current and super cool. Who's this guy? Again, shot by Patrick
Demarchelier.
There you go. pop art behind her as that's Claudia Schiffer with, Lichtenstein. So they did a whole series clearly that they were working with these. I mean, wow, that skirt is like Mickey Mouse inserted in the sequin skirt with the Coca-Cola bottles. Okay, gangster. So really, and into the pop art, on the shirt. This shirt is amazing too. Oh my God. Okay, this is just making me want more Iceberg. Blazers, sweater knits, we were always known for. Leathers, which we've always done in, an iconic Italian leather bomber. I think Steve might have even gotten a leather bomber at some point, or some sort of bomber.
Definitely wasn't a leather one, but I got a bomber.
There you go. This was a pretty iconic campaign that I've seen, into like Donald, like in Turgid. No one was doing this, and on that level. It really made people, guys like Jim Jones from Dipset, Rick Ross, people that are icons in kind of the rap game were saying in these days, these were like the pieces that they really wanted. Iggy Pop, right? Like in a silk shirt. Like how many brands have Iggy Pop in it? Like look at that piece, it's crazy. So this is Iggy Pop shot by Stephen
Maisel.
Okay, see, I don't even have to tell Steve the last name.
The
Steven.
first name. Tell me the first
Just
name.
say the first name.
I'll tell you the last
Even
name.
I've heard of Stephen Meisel. Iggy Pop is an icon. This ad is iconic for Iceberg. I think that we're heading back. Like, come on, spring, summer, pair of jeans, open silk shirt if you got the body for it. Iconic, really. But like 20 years ago, but could be really worn now.
Is that Isabella Rossellini?
This is Peggy Lipton.
Oh, Lipton, okay.
And this reminds me of the type of stuff that Steve shoots, like Stephen Meisel shooting like classic people. The one thing about Steve Carty, who's shooting this, is he's always worked with different age groups, different people, young people, older people, interesting, good looking, not so good looking. He's shooting me. So at the end of the day, they were doing this way ahead of their time as well, being inclusionary, right? Farrah Fawcett, iconic Iceberg campaign. Farrah Fawcett, this is Toscani?
Yeah, Olivera Toscani.
Okay. So, and now,
That's Marc Jacobs.
This is Marc Jacobs. Marc Jacobs, iconic with his own brand. Obviously, his time at Louis Vuitton changed streetwear as we know it, collabing with Murakami and bringing in street artists to make an old heritage brand like Louis Vuitton seem current. Who gave him his first start? Where was his first creative director gig? At Iceberg. And this is when Iceberg launched Iceberg Jeans. This is when the fascination with the brand really blew up in the US. When they did the Iceberg Jeans label, which we're now bringing back in the 51st year for the first time in many, many years. But here's Marc Jacobs in an ad while he was creative directing Iceberg. Pretty iconic. We're always known for the panda designs. It's always been iconic with the brand. We're back right here, right? Fringe. I wore a fringe jacket the other day. Metallics. Like, this is where we're at in fashion right now. So 20, 25 years always seems to be where we're at. Sofia Coppola, her job at this point was student. She's no longer a student. Tom York ironically.
Yeah.
So Steve Carty has a very famous photo with Tom York.
Yeah.
One of Steve Carty's most iconic photos, but this piece isn't about Steve Carty, it's about Iceberg, and I never knew they shot Tom York. This is super early, 94.
Yeah, that's 3 years before I shot him. I was going to say, that's before I shot him.
Stephen Meisel. He almost looks like he almost looks like Kurt a little bit.
He has a little Kurt Cobain to him,
right?
For sure.
That's wild. Okay, never knew. Okay, so like Naomi Campbell, model singer. So this isn't like blown up Naomi Campbell. This is starting out now.
What's the year?
This is 94.
Yeah, there you go.
Stephen Meisel, right? Early.
Yeah.
You know, like it almost doesn't even look like a
This
campaign.
is all film.
This is all shot on film.
I would assume so. This
Yeah.
is 94. Would the digital exist?
Not yet.
Right. Again, this thing that they do that I've never seen other brand do. This is Anna Sui for Iceberg. You know, Debbie Mazar, like. So this seems to be the Stephen Meisel period. You know, they tended to work with different photographers for different eras. Would become comfortable, would really partner up with these photographers. They would discover new talent like Naomi Campbell. They did all right. Amber Valletta. Look at this photo of Amber. Even I know who that is.
Yeah, she passed recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
but
God.
she's
R.I.P.
One of my favorites.
That's crazy. 95 again, Stephen Meisel. And you can see within the campaigns, you can see each photographer's style, and then they shot the campaigns in that style. They didn't deviate from it. They just ran with it and did multiple year campaigns. This is still very designer, very fashion. You know, this was a time when fashion brand, he was huge. I forget his name, but for male models, I remember like he was in Biblos ads and like always in GQ. But anyway, they everything was done very designer. You didn't get the inkling of street. You know, the major fashion houses, even though the streets were wearing their product, they didn't.
Peter Lindbergh is all of these.
Right.
Are all Peter Lindbergh.
How did you know?
I'm just looking at the credits,
Okay.
and I know the style as well.
Right.
This is all Peter Lindbergh.
Peter Lindbergh, super clean. From Stephen Meisel to kind of this really muted, classic sort of tone.
Peter Lindbergh really was a master of black and white. He used large canvases. He'd take them on location. You know, like he'd just put a background in the middle of a location and put a model in front of it, so you'd still see the world, but
Cool.
he would make any spot like a place where it was now posed down. So
Cool.
very known for his location work.
So that's this vibe basically.
100%, and the black and white.
Because you
Like,
can even see the scene.
yeah, 100%. He's seaming together like big muslins to
Right.
make like this long seamless background.
Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
And again, if you step out in this outfit, you look cool. Like
Yeah,
it's
today.
amazing. In 97, it's a lot of years later, but it seems very current. You know, good designers make things to last, and they make things. You know, Iceberg. These pieces are collectible now. So if you go into some of the best collectible fashion Grail boutiques in New York and London, like a Procel.
This is so Peter Lindbergh.
Right.
Like just the leather jackets. Like he shot the supermodels at that time. And look, this is Amber Valletta. They're wearing wigs. Like it's
Almost Beatles.
Yeah,
kind
like
of
the
vibe.
Beatles exactly, and the leather jackets exactly. Like this is Peter Lindbergh
Fab
all
5,
day.
Fab 3.
So sick.
That's crazy.
Peter Lindbergh all day.
Yeah. And again, you could tell he intentionally got away from the celebrity angle and like the person, even though obviously you said this is a gigantic model, but like turned it into, yeah, this is crazy. I've never seen any of
Kristen
this.
McEnemy.
Yeah,
That's
I've
who this
seen none of
model
this.
is.
Very clean and crisp. This is him as well, I'm
Peter
assuming, yeah.
Lindbergh, This is the Lindbergh years.
Clearly.
I love this.
Clearly.
I like how they divide this like by photographer.
And it was
It's
all
very cool.
intentional, and in the way that, like you said, they would work with the photographer for a period, for many
Yeah.
years it seemed,
Yeah.
and become comfortable.
And you see the black and white, right? You just see the consistency in the way that he's using the canvases, and he's using black ones, he's using gray ones, and it's like the tone on tone, the black and white tone, the monochromatic like people, almost like the people are almost like he shoots them like mannequins,
Right.
almost. You know?
You're right. And it's crazy because this is all wearable. Like, wouldn't you wear any of this?
Of course.
But this is how many years ago? 98.
Yeah, and it's right now,
Correct.
2025.
Correct.
It's right now. People are wearing this utilitarian
Correct.
look.
You're right. And this is always a New York look. Wow. And that must have been different at the time. Like, those aren't even Iceberg sneakers. So really, for him to shoot it like this and just show this like
But look at the
super
contrast.
stark.
Look at the
Yeah,
way
it's all contrast.
He does the like white pants, dark background,
Correct.
dark background, like
Correct.
dark, like he's very obviously very clothing forward. That's why the brand loves this guy.
Correct.
Right?
But so subtle.
Yeah.
There's no branding whatsoever outside of the actual branding, which is crazy. And it wouldn't have had this. So the double page ad in a magazine, which you would have spent $50,000 on, would have been this.
Yeah, and just said Iceberg, maybe, or even maybe not.
Well, no, it probably just had. I mean, it was probably
the
this
logo.
without the, without the credit. I would assume. Super clean. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Right. That's what a lot of people do not realize about Iceberg is that for as many, licensed, character-driven pieces that we know about in the States, in Europe, in Japan, Russia, they're really known for their tailoring, a lot of outerwear, full menswear collections, full women's wear, full kids. Look at this. I mean, this I really like this. Peter Lindbergh she's definitely a big model, and it just, like you said, it's just, the location is fairly stark and simple. Mm-hmm. Her outfit is stark and simple.
It's postmodern, like
yeah,
this feeling.
But this is 98.
Yeah, I've been watching that guy for 30 years.
Gorgeous. Okay, now it seems like is it still him? No?
It says right
Oh yeah, we are.
Lindbergh.
Peter Lindbergh, yeah. So now we're into like Iceberg jeans campaign. He did something a little bit more like vintagey. Okay. So now we get into the Y2K. This is when in the States the brand popped off and became like a cultural phenomenon, right? Boom. I couldn't have said it anymore to get to the campaign that a lot of us know about Iceberg, okay? Ice Jeans campaign, Little Kim when she was the hottest artist in the world, new album coming out, available on Queen Bee Records. And actually this was the Notorious Kim, Little Kim Iced. And who shot this? Peter Arnell. 2000. Iconic. Wow.
Gotta flip a little faster so we can keep this
So,
going.
Little Kim, Iceberg, iconicness. So they did a whole basically Little Kim was the model for Iceberg Jeans to launch the brand. And they did an entire campaign with her. I mean, all these pieces are grails, like $1,000 in a vintage store if you can find one of these pieces. And then so why is this important? This is important because no other luxury fashion brand from Italy at the time even admitted to having this customer or embracing this customer, which now is one of the most important customers in the world.
Urban market.
We don't call it urban. It changes all the time. Streetwear. High-end street is sort of the emergence of designer and fashion and street coming together. Iceberg pioneered this, and they were very proud to work with artists. This is Chic from the Locks, iconic, to be in an ad, and these were in every major fashion magazine. And this is the ad we all know and really blew them up in the streets. The full Locks, Jada, Chic, and all in Iceberg, like the full campaign. This was a major point for hip hop. This showed us that we were now global, and for Iceberg, this was huge. And then into this is Pamela Anderson. Okay, we're in Canada. Shout out to Pam. And this is where they got in. It went from Peter Lindbergh, super stark and minimal, to pop art, Y2K, paparazzi. This whole campaign with Pam was crazy. This one everybody knows. Super iconic. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Pam. Coming through Gia in Toronto. Vegan lifestyle. Nominated for Academy Award. Really proud of her. I don't know her, but just the way that she's come out and done her thing recently after being out of the game for a long time, moved back to Canada. Pamela Anderson campaign, crazy. These campaigns are iconic. Okay, so this one, even though Cardi's telling me to rush, is when it's like we all knew David LaChapelle. Okay, the budgets for these campaigns, I think they're still like finding invoices for these campaigns. Like, it was legendary, you know, and we're going to get to the work that I was blessed enough to work on with Iceberg when they relaunched in North America, and I would hear stories about David LaChapelle's budgets and these campaigns. Clearly, this doesn't look easy to shoot. Steve, you're a photographer. How did they do it? Like, she's on a motorcycle. It looks like it's moving. There's paparazzi around.
Yeah,
this guy's out of focus. She's basically naked.
Yeah, it's like a whole, they just create like a little closed set. They do little passes, blah, blah, blah. You know, David LaChapelle is like Anna Leibovitz back then. They were charging
$75,000 a day plus expenses. These invoices were $250,000, you know?
Iconic. I mean, this is in the middle of a book. I mean, books have a middle for a reason. This is in the middle of the book for a reason, for sure. Right? I'm going to leave this open, I think. Again, Pamela. And then we get into someone that was pretty unknown at the time. Have you any idea who this is?
That's a young Paris Hilton.
That's a young Paris Hilton. David LaChapelle took this socialite and turned her into, I think this is one of the first times she got exposed as like a gigantic celebrity. Iceberg campaigns, Paris Hilton, crazy. Like, look at that. Like, they made her look like a gigantic celebrity. The bedazzled, this whole outfit right now is super in trend. Okay, and then this whole, like, I don't even gotta look, it's David LaChapelle, but he's almost bringing them back to the 70s, like Italy, south of Italy. It looks like they had a lot of fun shooting these campaigns. Like he basically took it back and then made it forward. There's so much going on. It's like unbelievable. The David LaChapelle era is crazy. This is like a period in time that okay, this is crazy. I've never seen this. The world is Iceberg. They recreated Scarface in 2022 with 2002 David LaChapelle. Crazy. Way before Supreme and everyone else tried to bring that back. Okay, so they did a whole editorial based around Scarface. Crazy. Wow, I've never seen any of this. This is, wow, insane. Iceberg, like, come on. Fly, Pelican. Fly, Pelican. Great. Oh my God. David LaChapelle's a genius. I love this kind of stuff. It's like, again, it's not about the clothes, but they're in the clothes, recreating Scarface. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is when the brand was at its zenith. People were, you know, Jim Jones said people used to do a lot of things for Iceberg. And maybe when they saw this ad, it was kind of like, you got to do what you got to do to get some Berg. To get icy, right? We all want to get icy. So, like, this is that whole campaign. I've never seen any of this. You know, I've been in the archive. I've been blessed to work with the family for over 10 years. A lot of this stuff I've never seen. And interesting enough, they went in the archives. They have a deep archive in the head office. And they got a curator who really went through everything and independently, instead of the owners or people involved. They got an independent curator to go through everything to pick out what to include in the book. Wow, it's really surprising me. Kim Jones, you know, Iceberg, and, you know, sweater knits. That's what we're known for. That's what we pioneered. We made the machinery to make them. We were the first to license, and we're showcasing these pages. These are grails. These are pieces that sell for thousands of dollars in the vintage market. People collect them. People get together. They talk about the brand. They hang out. You know, it was a good time for a lot of people, and they remember those times as they, you know, they remember the best of times through the Iceberg and through the fashion and what they had to do to get a $400 beanie or $1,000 sweater in the 90s. It was aspirational. It was a time before everything was aspirational. You know, at the time, American fashion like Tommy and Polo was considered big, till Iceberg came around and really revolutionized what it was about. So here's another era, 2010, a very clean era with the brand.
It's Mert and Marcus.
There you go.
Mert and Marcus.
You're right, and you didn't even look at that. How did you know that? You're.
It's like a collective of two photographers.
Is there any photographers so far you don't know that they've worked with?
Couple. Yeah,
Okay.
there was a couple in
Okay.
there in the Lil Kim era that I
Okay.
wasn't really sure of who that shooter
Okay.
was, but
Most of them like are big icons.
And how do you think they? I mean, a lot of them were Italian, or it seemed like early on they worked with Italians.
DeMarchelier is like, he might be Italian, but he's always like New York and like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, they just work with the best shooters.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no real, I don't think they discriminate. And I think I like the fact that they flip it all the time. Like they flip the look to make it, now we look like this. Now this is the look
Correct.
we're jumping on. And now
Correct.
we want to look like Lindbergh.
Correct.
Now we want to look like LaChapelle.
Right.
Now we want, like, I love that. And they really let the photographer go. You can see that.
And is that normal in fashion?
Sometimes. In this level, yes. At
Right.
this level, where
Right.
Iceberg is, yes. They
Right.
pay the budgets. They just trust the photographer to just kill it.
Right.
And also the clothes just hold up. They get the right talent. They get the right teams, and this stuff flies. And Iceberg does things different, right? They don't really
Yeah.
look too much at what other people are doing. They want people to be looking at what they're doing.
And that's a good breakdown of the brand without you really understanding the inner dynamics of the creative. And they keep their creative directors for a long period. James has been with the brand since I started working on the relaunch.
I'll shoot for them one day.
You will.
They'll hear
I
about
think
me.
that's where if you build it, they will come.
They'll hear about Cardi for sure.
These skirts are iconic, like window pane skirts. Still that same team, and then we're gonna get into some current work. Okay, this is cool.
2015.
Oliver's, oh yeah, dude from Purple. Oliver, how do you say his name? Oliver Zom. He owns that Purple magazine,
Okay.
and he's a shooter as well.
2015. We're
That's
getting
really
right
cool.
close into where you shot, right?
And I mean, iconic, yeah. Kim Gordon, and this is about when I started to get involved with the brand.
Camera's getting hot. We're
Glen-
gonna run out of camera.
Glenn O'Brien, let's go. So let's keep flipping, and let's get to some of the work that I was blessed to work on, and I think we're getting there. Oh yeah, okay. Here's the period, and boom. So this was pretty amazing. We shot Lucky Blue with a photographer who I found who was 19, Sam Trotter. I met Sam in Community 54 in the Lower East Side. He showed me his book. It was super cool. He just moved from Detroit to New York, and he'd shot like Royce and a bunch of like underground stuff in Detroit. And he was a persistent young guy. We were doing a showroom in the Community 54 spot for Iceberg, and we had some executives in town. And he got lucky, and he showed his book to the executives. And next thing you know, he's shooting Lucky Blue, a gigantic male influencer in California. So got to book Lucky for this and be on the shoot and work with the whole team. It was pretty amazing, and we relaunched this Iceberg since 1974. And then we also shot Piper, which is Lucky's sister, who is also a big influencer at the time, and she was in her own group. She's working at Coachella. These are early designs by our creative director, James Long from London. This tracksuit, I actually gifted one to Future, and he wore it a bunch of times. He loved it, and there's a lot of images of Future in this tracksuit. This shot was cool, like impromptu at a parking garage, and just Lucky started playing with it's his sister, you know? So it was a real, like, authentic moment of them messing with each other, and they got that shot. And then this was really the campaign shots that we utilized. And this is 2017. I was blessed to work on this campaign with them. It was pretty amazing. This was I was hired like maybe for 6 months. We were relaunching the brand in North America. I got hired. We had another photo shoot planned with a photographer and everything in New York. Last minute, it fell. And the manager of the division at the time hit me up and said, hey, last minute, we need a photo shoot. I started calling around frantically. Shout out to my girl. She was like, oh, have you heard of Luca? He's cool. And Sarah, she's, dating Jaden. She's cool too. I did a lot of legwork, found their agent. They were both upcoming at the time, got them on like that upcoming rate. Luca ends up becoming one of the most famous faces in influencer fashion, and Sarah. They both are icons now, and we shot them in New York at a studio. So this is shot in New York.
We've got about 5 minutes of camera time.
And then we're into Vic Mensa. Booked Vic. He, was on Rock Nation. We shot him on location in Chicago. Sam came with the angel wings, like out of nowhere. This was all impromptu. We didn't even know Sam was coming with this whole look, and it ended up being the shot. This is the shot that we used, and it's pretty powerful when you see really what's on his arm and the whole detail of this. Oh my God, to see this in a coffee table book is friggin' amazing. And then Sita, she was a big Italian DJ model. Shot her with Vic, the Italian bomber. I got to help with some of the styling. This was an amazing day in Chicago. Vic took us through to his spots where he liked to hang out, and then got us tickets to see the Jay-Z show at the United Center. Bananas. Wow, man. This was a trip down memory lane. I really want to thank the team at Iceberg. Wow, okay, some work that I also did with Billie Eilish with the squad, and dreams come true. I mean, when I got the call, Iceberg was a brand that I grew up with, that I idolized, that taught me so much about fashion and culture and lifestyle at a time when I was just learning. And to get the opportunity to work with the brand and now have some of the iconic work, Jay-Z in the Popeye piece is another iconic, Jay, Nas. This was the glory days, and these were the years that I idolized the brand and could only imagine working with them. Jomar Group was always the brand. You turn the label over, if it didn't say Jomar, it was Fugazi. And, this is the time period that we all know and love the brand from. R.I.P. Clark Kent. He was the first one to wear Iceberg around Jay, and then he said Jay came to the office the next day and had the whole collection. So, wow. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. This is amazing. Thank you, Steve, for taking the time to go through this and capture this. This is amazing. Thank you.